Good day, sir. Good day, everyone. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Mark Ritzel Guevara, and I'm from NTREP 2B. So today, I'm gonna answer individually what are the significant results of our research. So number one, advancing knowledge. So research play a pivotal role in advancing human understanding of various topics. It uncovers new facts, theories, or insight that either build on existing knowledge or introduce entirely new paradigms. Whatever the research is theoretical, focus on concept or principle, or empirical based on experiments or observation, its purpose is often to add depth to what we already know. So, for example, in medical research, studying a new virus can lead to a deeper understanding of its behavior, transmission methods, and impact on the human body, thus contributing to the field of virology and public health. So, practical application. So, research isn't just about gaining knowledge. It often results in practical tools, solution, or innovation that can be used in the real world. This includes technological innovation, new treatments, or improved methods that benefit industry, government, and society at large. So, one of the example is engineering. In engineering, research into a new renewable energy sources can lead to the development of more efficient solar panels which can be used to reduce dependence on fossil fuels and address climate change. So, policy influencer. So, research findings can shape the policies and decision of governments, businesses, and organizations. So, by providing evidence based on data, research help policymakers make informed choices in issues such as health, environment, education, and economics. So, for example, research on the for example, research on the effectiveness of various educational programs can influence national education policies, leading to reforms in curriculum design, teachers, training, and resource allocation in school. So next one is identifying gaps. Truth research, gaps in exciting knowledge or technology are often identified, which prompts further studies to fill those voids. This can lead to new research, question, and direction that help to push a field forward. Example, in pathology, research into mental health might highlight a lack of understanding about how certain therapies work for the diverse population, so leading to target studies to explore those gaps. So the fifth one is innovation. So innovation is one of the most important outcomes of research, particularly in technology, science, and engineering. Research can lead to the development of new inventions, systems, or methods that revolutionize industry and improve people's life. So, example, in technology, research into artificial intelligence, or we call AI, has resulted in groundbreaking innovation such as self-driving cars, personalized recommendation on platforms like Netflix and others like YouTube, and voice assistant like Siri. So the sixth one is improvement of process. So research can identify ways to enhance exciting processes, whether it's in business, healthcare, and manufacturing or other sectors. It can suggest more efficient ways of working, reducing costs, or improving overall performance. So, for example, in business research into supply chain, sorry. In example, in business, research into supply chain management can lead to improved logistical processes, helping companies deliver product more quickly and at lower cost. So last one is contribution to education. So research help to improve education by introducing new teaching methods, curricula, or approaches to learning. It can lead to better outcomes in school, universities, and professional training programs, benefiting both educators and students. For example, research in pedagogy may discover that integrative hands-on learning is more effective than traditional lecture-based teaching, influencing how educators design courses and teach students. So the next question I will answer is, how can this research contribute to society? So the contribution of research to society can be profound as it addresses both immediate needs and long-term challenges across various domains. Here is how research can benefit society. So number one is solving real-world problem. So research help identify solution to societal challenge, whatever it's curing diseases, developing new technologies, or solving environmental issue. Research often provides practical solutions that improve quality of life. So example is medical research. Medical research into vaccine and treatments help prevent or cure disease, reducing health risks and saving lives worldwide. So the number two is improving public health. So research in healthcare, nutrition, and disease prevention directly impacts public health. It leads to advancement in treatment, early detection of diseases, and better understanding of health risks. Example, research into mental health has improved diagnosis and treatment options, reducing stigma and providing better care for those affected by mental illness. So, number three is promoting social justice and equity. So, contribution. Research into social science, human rights, and economics can shed light on inequalities in society and propose solutions for reducing disparities. This can lead to fairer laws, more inclusive policies, and social reforms. Example, research on income inequality and its effect on education and health has led to policies aimed at reducing poverty and improving access to resources in underserved communities. So, number four, sustainable development. Research in environmental science, sustainable agriculture, and energy source helps develop methods that reduce environmental degradation and support the sustainable use of resources. Example, research on renewable energy technologies like solar and wind power reduces reliance on fossil fuels and mitigates the effect of climate change. So, the number five is advancing technology and innovation. So, research drives technological advance that improve communication, productivity, and efficient across industry. New invention obtain change the way people work, interact, and live. So, example, research in information technology and computing has led to the development of the internet, mobile phones, and other tools that have revolutionized global communication and commerce. So the number 6 is inspiring education and lifelong learning. So research foster new educational approaches and improve how people learn. It contributes to better teaching methods, curricular, and material which benefit both students and educators. Example, research in cognitive science and educational physiology, physiology has led to the development of personalized learning strategies that better meet individual students' need and learning style. So, number 7 is supporting policy development. So, Number 7 is supporting policy development. Evidence-based research informs public policy and decision making at local, national, and international level. It provides data and insight that guide government in shaping an effective and just policies. So, example, research into the effects of air pollution on public health can lead to stricter environmental regulation and the development of clean air initiatives. So, number 8 is fostering cultural understanding. Research in anthropology, sociology, and history helps societies better understand their cultural heritage and foster cross-cultural understanding. This can promote tolerance, acceptance, and social cohesion. Example, research into different cultures and traditions can help combat stereotypes, reduce prejudice, and promote diversity and inclusion in multicultural societies. So, number 9 is economic growth and innovation. So, contribution. Research stimulates innovation and entrepreneurs creating new industry and job opportunities. It helps businesses optimize processes and enhance products, boosting the economy. So, example, research into new materials like graphene could revolutionize industries such as electronics, energy storage, and manufacturing, leading to new market opportunities and economic growth. So, the last one is empowering communities. So, research often involves community engagement and can empower local population by providing them with knowledge and tools to improve their living condition. So, example, participatory research in community development helps local understand how to access resources, improve infrastructure, or address local challenge effectively. So that's all. So the last question I will answer is, what are the things you need to do to conduct the market research properly? Today I will gonna explain step by step how to conduct market research properly. So the first one, or number 1, is define your research objectives. So the purpose of it is, the first step is to determine why you are conducting the research. What specific problem or opportunity are you trying to address? Example, could be understanding customer preference, assessing market demand, or evaluating competition. So, the next is specific goals. Once you know the overall purpose, break it down into a specific, clear question. For example, what are the buying habits of my target audience? Or how does my product compare to competitors? So, number 2 is identify your target audience. So, segmentation. Understanding who you think want to study is crucial. Think about the demographics, age, income, education, geographics, like location, behavioral characteristic, purchasing habits, brand loyalty, and physiographics, lifestyle values. So, sampling method. So, decide on a sampling method to choose your participant. You can use random sampling. Everyone has an equal chance. So, convenient sampling, easy to reach participants, or more advanced techniques based on the nature of your study. So, the number 3 is choose the type of market research. So, we have here the primary research and secondary research. So, primary research is this is the original data collected directly from your target or target audience through methods like surveys, focus groups, interview or observation. Primary research help you get first-hand insight and opinions. So, secondary research, this involves analyzing exciting data already collecting by others. So, sources include reports, studies, government data, competitor analysis, and articles. Secondary research help to provide background information, industry trends, and benchmark. So, the number 4 is develop your research plan. So, research design. Choose whatever your research will be qualitative, open-ended, exploratory, or looking for deeper insight, or quantitative, structure, numerical, focus on measuring data. So, tools and methods. Select the best tools for your research. For example, you might use online survey platforms like etc., SurveyMonkey, or conduct in-depth interview through Zoom or phone calls. Ito yung tinatawag nating survey. Timeline and budget. Determine how much time you have and the budget available for the research. Ensure you can complete the research within the set constraints. The number 5 is data collection. So, execute research plan. sorry. Execute research plan. This is the phase where you actually go out and gather the data you need. So, this could means distributing surveys, interviewing customer, or organizing focus groups. Be clear in your communication to ensure participants understand the process. So, quality control. Monitor the data collection process to ensure consistency and reliability. Make sure your questions are unbiased and that participants provide accurate, honest response. Ito po yung paano tayo mag-survey sa mga tao and how we will get their opinion for answer. So, number 6 is analyze the data. Data cleaning. After collecting the data, ensure you remove irrelevant or incomplete data. This is important for the integrity of your analysis. So, analysis method. Use software tools like Excel, SPSS, or R to analyze your data. If you're working with data, you might looking at average, percentage, or trends for qualitative data. You might identify themes or patterns in open-ended responses. So identify trends and insight. Looking for common patterns or trends that emerge from the data. This could include things like product preference, pain points, or demographic insight that could help you better understand the market. So number 7 is interpret the result. So contextualize finding. After analyzing the data, interpret it in the context of your business goals. For example, if the research show that a specific demographic prefers a product future, think about how this impacts your product strategy. Draw conclusions. From the pattern and insight identified, draw clear conclusion about what the data is telling you. This might include insight into market potential, consumer behavior, or areas for improvement. So number 8 is make recommendation. Actionable insight. Based on the conclusion, generate practical and actionable recommendation. For example, if your research showed the consumer are dissatisfied with a particular product feature, you might recommend improving that feature or changing your marketing message. Strategic implication. Think about how your findings affect your business strategy. For example, if a certain customer segment is particularly profitable, you might recommend focusing more on marketing to that group. The number 9 is report the findings. Clear and concise reporting. Summarize the research process, findings, and conclusion in a report or presentation format. Use visuals such as graphs, pie charts, and tables to make the data easier to understand. Communicate effectively. Present your findings to stakeholders such as team members, executive, or clients. Ensure the key insights are highlighted and that your recommendations are actionable. So the last one is make informed decision. Use the insight gained from your research to guide business decision. Whenever you're deciding on product development, market expansion, pricing strategies, or customer service improvements, the research should inform this choice. Monitor and adjust. After implementing your decision based on research, it's important to continue monitoring the market to see if adjustments are needed based on new trends or